everybody. I'm headed to Miami. I've got meetings and counselings today, and I'm going to be speaking tomorrow at 1 o'clock at Unity on the Bay in Miami as I go through, of course, the Miracles group discussion, by the way. And let me make sure we're good here. Okay. And anyway, so we're going to have a wonderful A Course in Miracles discussion tomorrow in Miami at Unity on the Bay. However, I did want to say to you that I recently, a few days ago, I had a dream that was actually remarkable. And I want to share it with you. And so I woke up like at 5 a.m., which I normally get up. And the dream that I just woke up from, I was in kind of my mind. I didn't feel like I had a body at that moment. And I was just aware of kind of a dark mind that had lit kind of on the sides, kind of fire or something on the side. And I got a voice that said, "Hey, Kevin, go to the back of your mind." So I didn't know what that meant, so I was like, okay. So I went back to the back of my mind and walking back, and it said, keep going further, further, further. And when I went to the very back of it, all I had, it was like a cave. And it was lit up with a light, soft lighting on the side. And all it had was a treasure, a wood treasure, opened. And all it had was golden coins and jewelry in it. And the chest was open. And all it was that. So I said, what is this about? And the voice said to me, this is your inheritance. This is your inheritance. And I paused and I said, well, why don't I have that? And it says, sometimes you threw the treasure away. And then immediately I woke up from that experience. So I went to my patio and I sat there for about an hour sitting with this because it was so vivid and colorful. And I sat with it and I thought, you know what, that reminds me of the Ego's playbook that I have played with many times in the past, right? I remembered from my book where it gave me the Ego's relationship playbook, which says, I do not have the treasure I seek. To someone out there possesses the treasure. Third, that I must love the one who has my treasure, and that I must simultaneously fear this one because of it. And I thought, oh my God. And by the way, that's from my book, The Game of Love, Changing the Rules Changes Everything, on my website, onlylovingthoughts.com. So I really wanted to convey to you the importance of the dream, first of all. And I'm really invested in dreams. I do Dr. Carl Jung's analysis of dreams a lot. And so I looked at the dream independently and asking for some instruction and so forth. So I went through those four things, and it really helped me to shift my alignment from where I have lived my life fully, where I don't have a treasure chest, right, at my disposal at any moment, but to choose once again, right? So the first line from my book was, I do not have the treasure that I seek. So in other words, I am looking externally for my inheritance, my treasure, okay? And in that moment, I'm choosing through my thoughts, fear, and darkness instead of love and light. That's it. Now, I have said this previously to you before, that the moment that my mind goes south is when I identify with that voice of fear, founded in the past and the future, and scientifically, I am trapped in the back of my brain because of it, okay? And you can go to my website to get the science behind this. So in other words, I'm, through the ego, living in the darkened room of the back of my brain, or as A Course in Miracles refers to it as the ego's darkened glass. And so through my choosing, my thoughts, my beliefs, I move into an identification with the past and the future, and I remove myself from the eternal timeless now, right now, okay? So I cover over the present moment, okay? And when I do that, I am there in a modality of searching externally for my treasure, my inheritance that I myself am throwing away, okay? But I can choose again. I can choose again. And the second line that I put in my book as well, that someone out there possesses the treasure. That something external to me brings me happiness, abundance, and so forth. And so my life, and many of you experience the same thing, that you are seeking outside for what is really inside of you right now, because happiness is an inside job each and every day. As A Course in Miracles says, seek not outside of yourself, for it will fail, and you will weep each time an idol falls. And this happens each and every day, okay? Because our minds are so powerful. By a simple shift in my perception, by a simple shift in my attitude about the world begins to change accordingly. I tell people in counselings all the time, especially single individuals who are looking for love externally, my first advice to them is, hey, stop searching for love externally. Because the searching externally is actually telling yourself in that moment that you are without love now, that you presently are without the inheritance and the treasure that has already been given to you, and that all that we have done is merely throw it away, just like the prodigal son did, right? Or Adam and Eve leaving the garden. And the whole process of getting back to where we are in life is to bring ourselves back to the acceptance of the inheritance and the love and the joy and the light that has already been given to us each and every day. And then the third line in my book was, I must love the one who has my treasure. In other words, I am playing with an hallucination that if I find my treasure in somebody else in a perfect relationship, then and only then I'll be happy, I'll be complete, and so forth. And when I say special love, I mean that I'm basically asking that person to bring to me something that they were never intended to bring to me. I make them special, okay? And in that process, I am replacing what is normally and originally innocence with guilt. Because when I create a special relationship with anybody, then I am literally feeding and playing and dancing with guilt in that process. I am, each and every day. Now you say, Kevin, how do you know when I'm experiencing guilt? Well, it's really easy. You will see and know and understand if you play and dance with guilt. You will see your future as fear, and you will see the past as shame and sin. So if you play and dance with guilt, it is the most unproductive emotion in the world. Okay? So as you uproot the guilt, and we do this in a lot of the counselings I do, is to recognize that the problem is not external to you. The problem is that you and I are, from time to time, delving into an experience of deep guilt. And because of it, we create scenarios in which we punish ourselves and the relationship because of it. And we can choose again, and we can choose again. And then the fourth one is I must simultaneously fear this one because of it. In other words, my special love external to me will eventually turn into my special hate. And this happens in all relationships and marriages and so forth, that you begin a process of not experiencing the guilt that you are feeling, and so you repress it and then you project it on another person. My husband is the problem, not me. My boss is the problem, not me. Okay? My friends, we can choose again. Because if I try to find a special relationship, which will eventually turn into my special hate relationship from A Course in Miracles and my book, okay, that we have chosen to be on a battlefield with our spouse and other people, our brothers and sisters, instead of accepting the peace of God instead. All right, look, here's the question for all of us today is, are you on a battlefield? Are you at war right now with anyone external to you, or not? Are you off of the war? Are you off of the battlefield? This is so important that we understand this, that as happiness is an inside job, so is peace. And the moment I move from peace to war is the moment that I think that my interpretations about the world, my value system, is better than yours. It's different from you, and my perspectives and my interpretation is better than you and the world. And in that moment, we immediately are on a battlefield with ourselves each and every day. But there is a better way, right? I just told you the ego's relationship playbook. I do not have the treasure I seek. Someone out there possesses the treasure. I must love the one who has my treasure, and I must simultaneously fear this one because of it. And because when we play and dance with that fallacy, we are experiencing suffering because of it. The Spirit of Love's playbook is the exact opposite of it. Number one, I now possess God's treasure of love within me now. Okay? I am dislodging myself from that voice of fear, the ego, founded in the past and the future, and through realignment, I bring myself to the eternal timeless now. And remember that everything that I seek for externally has already been given to me right now. The inheritance, the treasure, the joy, the peace that I love has been given to us. But because in the past I have thrown that treasure away through my own perceptions and interpretations, I can set those interpretations to the side, okay, and ask a download from my source, God, to remind me of who I am as a child of God, that I am as God created me and not what I made of myself in the moment. The second one, everyone possesses the same treasure I do. So I'm not here just seeking a treasure within you or happiness within you, okay? So when I suspend that search, when I suspend the judgment about it, then we can have an experience instead of love. And three, I will love others as I love myself because we share the same treasure. In other words, it's the golden rule. As you love God with all of your heart, soul, and strength, and love others as you want to be loved, then you will experience the love of God. And I want to remind you that what Jesus said in the New Testament to an attorney. And the attorney came to Jesus and said, "What do I have to do to feel? What do I have to do to experience eternal life?" And Jesus said, "What does the prophet say? What does the law say?" And the lawyer said that we should love God with all of our heart, soul, and strength, and love others as we want to be loved. And Jesus said, "Do this, and you will live forever. And this is what we do. I will love others as I love myself because we share the same treasure. And then fourthly and lastly, love cannot be threatened and fear does not exist. Love is your state of being. It is eternal and it cannot be threatened by a relationship or a job experience or a coworker or anybody else in your world. Okay? Love cannot be threatened and fear does not exist. Period. Fear does not exist. And my friends and our relationships with other people, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow in Miami at 1 o'clock at Unity on the Bay, we want to understand that the moment that our thoughts or interpretation is founded in any way, shape, or form in fear, we are immediately sleeping. The mind is asleep. And we begin to experience mind awake when we begin to understand and to remember the love that has already been given to us and has been given to everybody else. And we begin to experience the understanding of that when I begin to, not through projection, but through extension, expressing the love, the good, the sacred, and the beautiful each and every day. Okay? So look, man, I have a wonderful day here going to Miami from West Palm Beach, and I hope that I'll see you tomorrow at Unity on the Bay in Miami for our Course in Miracles group discussion. And if no one has told you today that they love you, allow me to be the first. I love you so much, and you are pure light.